fact, for 2 days, they tried to stay away from the building. That means that they did not go for room intervention. That, of course, comes from the experience of the past. In February this year, this building, in fact, in the same compound, the biggest building was under fire. It was taken over by the militants, and there they tried to go for room intervention. The Army's paracommandos went in, but they suffered casualties. At that time, in fact, the Army lost 2 captains of the para, and 3 other Jawans, including a policeman, were killed. So keeping that in mind, this time around, they were in absolutely no hurry. It was decided as a strategy not to go in and keep pounding the building from outside with the hope that they managed to really hit these militants. But from the last 2.5 days is the 3rd day that really has not proved successful, because these militants have lied low. Only yesterday in the evening it was finally established that yes, definitely they are inside. But since the last 2 days they were not showing their presence. One important reason for that was that they did not want to compromise their position. They did not want to give out their exact position so that the army could target it. But finally yesterday, since their presence was established, it was decided that strategy definitely needs to be re-looked into, and it seems that today definitely something will give. Either they'll continue it for some time, or maybe through the day they may try to go in. As you rightly said, the patience is running low, and it's the day 3, and they would definitely want the operation to end today at least.
Right. So let's in fact go through the facts that we have as of now, Farid. You are saying that militant presence inside the building is confirmed because there was some gunfire heard. We are not confirming the figures of how many have been neutralized yet. But is there any estimate as to how many of those militants could be holed up inside, and how long could this operation take from here on?
Well, the number is something that no one is confirming right now. There could be at least, definitely there are 2, there could be 4. So that is the number that we have got from our sources. The number could be more. That strategy from day 1 was to not show their presence, not to waste their ammunition randomly, not to fire indiscriminately, just wait for the security forces to come close. They want close range combat. They want that the security forces should come in, and in fact after that so that they can engage them from close quarters and cause casualty. That seems to be their strategy. But since from the last 2 days the security force decided to stay away and fire from outside, it seems that they have some space inside which is keeping them away from this very heavy firepower that has been unleashed on this building by the army. Rockets, IEDs, grenades have not had the desired effect till now. So that's why I'm saying that definitely there could be a case that they would re-strategize now and change their plans. Now what exactly that would be, we'll come to know in some time. But today it seems that they've decided to go for some kind of a final assault, be it room intervention or otherwise, to finish this encounter, because as I said, it's already been 2 days. Today is the 3rd day, and they cannot afford to really go ahead and still wait for some more time, considering that already so much time has gone into this, so much energies, and right now it seems that today at least they'll try to do something different to really put an end to this encounter.
Right. In the larger picture, Farid, also help us understand that how, this kind of an incident actually perpetrated by Pak-backed terrorists continue to foster unrest in the valley. If we look at this particular institute, it's a government training institute. It had suffered major damage, but it was doing extremely good work. So what is the kind of impact that is being faced by the EDI and by the students who are actually getting trained there?
Well, if you look at the militant strategy, they want impact value. They want their strikes to be impactful. And if you talk of this particular area, as we have been saying from the last 2-3 days, this is the biggest and the strongest building. This is a concrete structure, and probably this is the strongest structure if you take a look around. In fact, if you take a look at this particular district, this would be one of the strongest structures. So that seems to be one plan or one reason why they took over this, because they knew that they had maximum chances of survival inside this building, and they could really hold the fort for long hours, and that's something that really led them to this particular building. You're absolutely right. This was a pivotal institution as far as generating employment in the Kashmir Valley is concerned. Many youth, student, teachers associated with this, many entrepreneurs who have really successfully used this particular institute to set up their businesses. So it was doing a great work, and it seems that that could also be one reason that why it has been been really targeted. But no doubt, after the first building was damaged, they had shifted the office to this particular building. The record room was there. They were operating from this building. Now, even this building has been devastated. So it seems that the EDI in totality will stop functioning from here, at least for the time being. What will happen to it, we'll come to know. But right now, the priority is to eliminate the resistance of these militants who have taken shelter in this huge building, 7-floor building, 70 rooms, and a very well built, where it seems to be a kind of a concrete bunker. It is acting at least as a concrete bunker for these militants who are hiding inside. And let me also add here that these militants have not used their ammunition much, so still they would have their ammunition intact. And to add to that, if their strategy was to go in and stay there, they also would be having their ration and other supplies to sustain for longer. So this seems to be a very well-planned attack. And going by how it was started, it seems that they wanted the security forces to come close to them. They wanted that the security forces should come to them, so that they really managed to cause casualties.
Right.
So that seems to be their strategy. It seems to be a well-planned attack, not something that happened overnight. So that really, these are the details that are, of course, coming out.
Farid,
But
like
yes,
you are saying, the choice of target for the terrorists is extremely important, significant in a way, like you're also saying, because this is how the development agenda in Jammu and Kashmir gets derailed, isn't it? When you try to hit educational institutes, you actually impact students, you actually impact the environment, the general environment in the state so badly. And that perhaps is the agenda. But do you see this as a direct fallout of the surgical strikes as well?
well, in the backdrop, definitely this seems to be the amping up of the militant activity definitely seems to be related or connected to the surgical strikes. While on the other hand, you cannot really relate everything to that. You have been having incidents of militants in the Kashmir Valley for so many years now, and every now and then militants try to show their presence. Now, while previously they had resorted to smaller attacks, if I can say that, like grenade attacks or shoot and scoot attacks, but of late, after especially those surgical strikes and after Uri, there was a fear that there could be retaliation, and that of course seems to be happening through these Fidai attacks, because Fidai is a strategy that has a very high impact value. You enter a building or you attack any security force compound, you have the element of surprise, you come with the intention of killing and getting killed. These Fidai are literally killing machines. They have very high degree of training and motivation, and to add to that, they have serious firepower with them, with all the weaponry, grenades and AK-47 rifles. Now, to give you an example of their training and the motivation, the fact is that from the last 3 days, they have been inside, and in spite of all the pounding, they have managed to survive. So that really, in fact, tells you that they are battle hardened, and that's why the army is not taking any chances by entering this building. But as I said, now the choices are limited, and with day 3, the patience is running low. So definitely today is the day when they'll try to fold or to try to close this encounter by taking some serious measures or some final assault, so that this resistance is ended and this compound is made free of these militants who have overtaken it from the last 3 days.